All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Early Morning Crypto Talk. Bitcoin Brandon from Los Angeles, California. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to listen and get some education in the crypto space. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you're listening in from the YouTube channel. So we have Shauna Ross, North Carolina, Lorna Vasquez, Jay Guillory, Nafula, Lashana from Richmond, Cleve Stewart from New York, Bethany Gibbs, Seattle. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestion, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. There's 4 rules I live by to have success in the crypto space. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money that you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? What vehicle of choice? Make a decision, take action, remain focused, and do not get distracted. Now, following these rules is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is everything you can ask for. Or the most you can ask for, I gotta put it that way. All right, let's go ahead and get started. You should be able to see my screen in a second. And all right, coin market cap. I did not do a crypto talk last night, but I did it yesterday morning, and the market jumped by about 5 billion in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin got 2.71% growth. Dominance went to 50.4%. It was at 50.9% yesterday morning. So a lot of money went to the altcoins. The altcoins went up high. Look at EOS is up 12.9%. Litecoin 4.7, Ripple 2.79, Ethereum 3.8. So the whole market is green. Look at that. Only a few reds there. Ravane, Aurora, Qcoin. Well, let's look at the best performers last 24 hours. Repo was up 45%. Knowles 22%. Waikiki Chain, EOS 12.97. They're the biggest winner in the top 10 coins. Ardor, Cardano was up almost 10%. Look at all these coins. Pivex, almost double digit across the board. Now the worst performers. Qcoin shares, the worst performer only lost -2%. Huobi, Aurora, and Ravane. That's it. And the other ones are still in the green. The stable coins there. You've got Paxos, USD Coin, Tether, True USD, and Gemini Dollar. All right. Let's see, since we're talking about a rally there. Now rallies as Boeing falters while Bitcoin pounds past 4,000. Pounded past 4,000? It was only at 39.60 yesterday. Went up about $80. But let's check on Poloniex. $4.24. So the 24-hour high was $40.43. 24-hour low was $39.27. So yeah, it went up about $120 over the last 24 hours. Still on the upswing right now. Everything's on the upswing right now. Not bad. Okay, Dow rallies as Bitcoin falters. I'm sorry. As Boeing falters while Bitcoin pounds past 4,000. The Dow bounded into the U.S. trading session on Wednesday, shaking off a weak futures performance and more bearish news for Boeing to rise nearly 100 points. The Bitcoin price also made a strong entry, surging past the $4,000 mark to hit its highest level in nearly a week. Shortly after Wednesday's opening bell, the Dow Jones Industrial Average had gained 92.83 points or 0.36%. Futures trading had pointed to losses, but the Dow made a minor recovery on the back of stronger than expected trade data. The S&P 500 rose 0.18%, and the Nasdaq added 0.2% to round out a positive early session. On Tuesday, the Dow salvaged a 140.9-point rally after an afternoon stumble threatened to wipe away its gains. The index ended the session at 25.657 for a 0.55% increase. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq also made strides, climbing 0.72% to 2,818.46 and 0.71% to 7,691.52 respectively. Boeing tailspin places further pressure on Dow. This morning, the Dow could face pressure from Boeing, its largest index component. On Tuesday afternoon, a Boeing 737 MAX 8 made an emergency landing. Wait, what? I didn't have the news on yesterday. I missed this. Another MAX 8 made an emergency landing in Florida after pilots encountered a performance issue with one of the engines shortly after takeoff. Isn't that what happened with the last two planes that crashed? I'm making sure now, when I travel, what plane am I on? I don't want to get on that MAX 8. All right. While the Federal Aviation Administration claims the issue was unrelated to the automated stall, that's even worse. That means you got two errors now. Unrelated to the automated stall system failure that's believed to have caused the tragic Lion Air and Ethiopian Airlines crashes that collectively killed 346 people. The incident adds to the controversy surrounding the 737 MAX 8. You know what? Can you imagine? News comes out. Oh, yeah, another MAX 8 had problems after takeoff. And then they say, oh, no, don't worry. It wasn't the same problem as the last two planes. Is that supposed to make me feel better? What you're telling me is you've got another issue? How many more issues do we have with the plane we don't know about yet? Huh? You don't know. A U.S. Senate subcommittee scheduled for Wednesday afternoon should further pressure Boeing stock. At 3 p.m., lawmakers will hear testimony from federal aviation safety officials about how and why the 737 MAX 8 was certified as airworthy, despite having an apparent critical design flaw. I even read, which flight was it? I don't remember if it was the one in Ethiopia or the Lion Air. But one of them, the day before the flight crashed, they had the same problem, but there was another pilot on the plane who understood what was going on and knew how to correct it. It was only because he was on the plane. That's just not acceptable. Anyways. Meanwhile, Boeing rival Airbus has capitalized on its competitor's misfortune by ramping up its sales to Chinese airlines. Earlier this week, Airbus announced that it would ship 300 jets. Now you take advantage, worth roughly $35 billion to China. Of those 300 planes, 290 A320 model aircraft, which is a direct competitor to the embattled 737 MAX 8. China had previously planned to increase 737 MAX 8 imports to help the U.S. reduce its trade deficit. Good grief. Well, that's screwed over. Reduce its trade deficit, but its reversed course after Ethiopian Airlines crashed this month. Despite these woes, Boeing shares, which have dropped 15% over the past month, rose 0.4% during pre-market trading. Now, bullish Bitcoin price pounds past 4,000. Outside of traditional markets, the Bitcoin price has once again made a strong break past $4,000 as it seeks to slay a critical resistance line that has prevented it from establishing a new bull market. On Wednesday, the Bitcoin price jumped by 3.07%, peaking as high as $4,049 before ebbing back down to a present value of $4,024. The move raised Bitcoin to its highest mark since March 21st, but the flagship cryptocurrency's market share continued to crater as smaller assets stole the affections of crypto traders. Bitcoin dominance currently stands at 50.4%, down from nearly 54% in January. EOS, the fifth largest cryptocurrency, exploded by 12.2% on Wednesday, surpassing the $4 mark to reach a global average of 409. According to eToro's senior market analyst Maddie Greenspan, EOS has now eclipsed its 200-day moving average, which is a bullish technical indicator. Bitcoin Cash and Stellar also assembled major rallies, climbing 8% and 6.68%, respectively, as the overall cryptocurrency market cap added $5.5 billion. You know, I have another theory. Even though I believe that market manipulation is keeping the price of Bitcoin down, I'm not sure if that same market manipulation is also forcing the altcoins down. I think the altcoins are reacting to Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes down, the altcoins go down. Bitcoin goes up, the altcoins go up. Only difference is by how much. So if we look at the chart here, I'll give you an example of just today, for example. So Bitcoin went up 2.67%, but the altcoins shot up much higher as a percentile. Bitcoin goes down 1 or 2%. The altcoins go down by a higher percentile. So they're still reacting to Bitcoin, but I think the pressure is getting too big that they are responding on a larger scale than previously. They're not just going up 1 or 2 points like Bitcoin. They're going up 5, 10, 15 points because of the pressure. So that as in that theory, that means the Bitcoin rubber band is going to snap. And when it snaps, because I believe, this is my own personal opinion, that this $4,070 price that Bitcoin currently is at, I believe the real natural price without market manipulation is over $14,000 per coin. If that were to happen, all of these other coins would also jump up. But the futures focus was on Bitcoin and Ethereum, not all these other altcoins. So I think the other altcoins are starting to bleed through. And them bleeding through is also kind of pushing up Bitcoin and Ethereum itself. This is an interesting flip. I thought this was going to happen in 2018. It's happening now in 2019. There's going to be a snap. We want to be on the beginning side of that snap and be propelled by it instead of chasing it. That's why I personally hope that the price of Bitcoin remains down for the rest of the year. Personally, I don't want Bitcoin to run up this year. All right, next article up. $2.46 trillion asset manager, Fidelity, packed with hundreds of rabid Bitcoin fans. See the adjectives they use there to describe what's going on? Rabid, not ordinary fans, not so-so fans, not interested fans, rabid. According to Ari Paul, a prominent investor in the cryptocurrency industry and the co-founder of Block Tower Capital, Fidelity has hundreds of passionate Bitcoin advocates at the executive level. People keep saying, we're waiting for institutional people to get here. They're already here. Fidelity, one of the largest asset managers in the world, with over $2.46 trillion in assets under management, has made a targeted entry into the cryptocurrency sector and is set to launch a crypto custodian service in the near term. Let's just say at $2.46 trillion, if just 10% of those assets that they're managing, they put into crypto, that's an extra about 2.3 something, oh, 2.4, $240 billion, $240 billion being added, somewhere around there. So if the market cap right now is at $142 billion, add another, we're talking about almost $400 billion cap just from Fidelity alone. What do you think the price of all of these coins is going to do? You're adding an extra $240 billion. It's got to go, most of it's going to be in the Bitcoin area, but all the other altcoins are going to rise on a bigger percentile. More from an off-stage interview with Fidelity Digital Assets' Tom Jessup at DC Blockchain. Company is live, sees institutional interest despite crypto bear market. See, the big money guys, they don't care about the bear market. They're not looking at the price of Bitcoin now other than it's cheap. They are as encouraged now as they were when prices were higher. They're actually more encouraged now. The high prices only confirm to them that the thing is real and can work. So they hit the reset button so that they can get involved in the game. Fidelity Digital Assets, a new company created by the investing giant last year, is already working with wealthy families to hedge funds on Bitcoin. In January, the company said in an official announcement, so you guys remember my story of the river of money and where the wealthy people are on their yachts and oil tankers in the middle of the river with their nets. And when the river changes course, all they do is pull up their net pull up their anchor and float wherever the river's going. That's what's happening here. See, all these wealthy families, they hire a company like Fidelity to manage their wealth. And Fidelity puts in different stocks and bonds and real estate and precious metals and all that stuff. Now, Fidelity is telling these wealthy families, yeah, we're looking at this whole crypto stuff. We think we might want to put a percentage of your wealth in that. And the wealthy families, I don't care, whatever's going to make me money. You think they understand Bitcoin and crypto? No, you probably know more than they do. They just have a whole lot more money than you do. And next thing you know, the wealthy stays wealthy. That's how it works. Now, since you're not a wealthy person to be able to afford an agency to do this stuff for you, you have to become educated yourself and be able to make the moves yourself as your own agent. It says, we are currently serving a select set of eligible clients. What does that mean by eligible? What does that mean? That's like Jamie Dimon talk. Because his JPM coin is not available for everybody. Only the big boys. So eligible clients, as we continue to build our initial solution over the next several months, we will thoughtfully engage with and prioritize prospective clients based on needs, jurisdiction, and other factors. What other factors? What needs and what jurisdiction? That's I think like a lawyer. So when I read something, I break it down. So if I were to read that statement, if I was like a reporter on the scene that got that quote, that's the thing. Reporters don't dig in more. I'm like, okay, can you clarify? After they said something, what is an eligible client? What are their needs? What jurisdictions are you looking at? And what other factors are you talking about? Don't just take the quote and walk off with it. The involvement of major financial institutions in the likes of Fidelity, and then you have ICE, which is on top of the New York Stock Exchange, and NASDAQ. And the cryptocurrency market amidst a 15-month bear market suggests that the interest in the asset class from investor in the traditional financial market still remains relatively high. Since mid-2017, executives at Fidelity have expressed their willingness to study and learn about cryptos and their underlying technology. Oh, I feel very good now, because that's exactly when I started to do it too, mid-2017. So at least I may not have a bank account like Fidelity, but at least my mind is on the same path as theirs. That's 90% of the battle right there. In July 2017, Hadley Stern at Fidelity told Fortune that the company had been mining Bitcoin and Ethereum to understand the mechanisms behind the network, consensus, and difficulty levels. Throughout the past year and a half, Fidelity has continued to work towards understanding the asset class with the intent of providing an infrastructure to support investors in the crypto market. On Wednesday, Paul said that the enthusiasm towards crypto runs throughout the company, at every level of seniority of the firm, sparking optimism regarding the rate of institutionalization of the crypto market. Here's what I got. At every level of seniority of the firm. So they don't have anybody. It's like, have you ever been on a job and you've got a great idea and you know that this is going to help the company and everything in your whole division, but then you got a boss above you that's like, because it wasn't their idea, they're negative on you. Nah, that's not going to work. Nah, you better not bring that up in the meeting. Nah, forget about that. It ain't going to happen. That's not the case here. At every level of seniority, this is going to happen. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. Paul stated, Fidelity's cryptocurrency culture is bonkers. Literally hundreds of passionate advocates at every level of seniority at the firm. They have more people working on crypto than the 5 biggest crypto funds combined. Are you kidding me? Their approach to custody from a security perspective is very impressive, at least from my relatively quick look. Not many groups actively mitigating things like HSM supply chain risk. At this stage of the cryptocurrency market, wherein some investors could doubt the long-term survivability of the asset class, the demonstration of confidence by companies in the scale of Fidelity and ICE is crucial in serving as evidence that the asset class itself is not a fad. As Jeff Sprecher, the chairman of the New York Stock Exchange, said in November of last year, cryptocurrencies will survive, and Bitcoin in particular has shown that it can endure long-lasting bear markets in the past 10 years. Somehow, Bitcoin has lived in a swamp and survived. There are thousands of other tokens that you could argue are better, but yet Bitcoin continues to survive, thrive, and attract attention, Sprecher said. Fidelity wants to do crypto right. Previous reports have suggested that Fidelity is slowing down the process of offering crypto custodial services to the public and is not in a hurry to do so. Speaking to The Block in March, Fidelity digital asset head Tom Jassoff said that 20% of institutions surveyed by Fidelity said they are planning to expand their investment in the crypto market. We just completed a survey of about 450 institutions, so everything from family offices to registered investment advisors to hedge funds is interested. It's interesting. I think about 20% indicated that they currently allocate to digital assets with an intention to grow that, Jessup said. 20%. Financial institutions, especially multi-billion-dollar corporations, do not aggressively move into unregulated markets unless they see significant demand or first-mover advantage. The efforts of Fidelity and other major firms indicate that they either currently see overwhelming demand from institutions or they see the asset class growing exponentially in the decades ahead. You guys see the signs of the times? This is happening whether you like it or not, whether you believe it is real or not, whether you want to get involved or not. Your opinion on this matter is irrelevant. It is happening, and we're running out of time. On that note, Friday, probably evening, before I go on my Wingstop run, I'm going to be doing a special Facebook Live. And it's going to be called It's Time. I've got the okay and the clear from corporates at KGX and the lawyers to be able to share what's been working on and what's been happening. There's going to be a call with the entire company. I think it's going to be next week to share more details than what I will share on Friday. But the ball's starting to roll. And what people are, I still haven't, since we began KGX, I never advertised yet. We've been in pre-launch. Now's the time that things are going to be kicked into high gear. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that's going to miss out on it because they, for whatever reason, they just not here anymore. But that's irrelevant because that's not stopping the company. So just giving you a heads up, today's Wednesday. There will not be a KGX presentation tomorrow night, but a Friday, probably, I don't know, maybe 8 p.m. Eastern or so. Depends on what time. I got another call before that to get further information, what I can and cannot say. I want to, one thing that we're big about is compliance, making sure that we're saying the right things. I know, I'll share this. Okay. I was talking with Mike Boggs, and we were talking about taxes and things like that because, dealing with tax season and dealing with the banks and people are, I never got a 1099 from KGX and what happened. Well, the thing is, the laws are different when you're dealing with Bitcoin. KGX only dealt in Bitcoin. So you only issue out the 1099 if you've done at least, what was it, $20,000 worth of Bitcoin on one transaction, or 200 transactions total in Bitcoin. No one individual did either of that in 2018, especially there's only 52 weeks in a year. We get paid four times a month. So nobody actually did that because we didn't start it until, what was it? First commissions went out in what was it, April or May? So we're looking at about over a 12-month period, 52 weeks times, you just multiply 52 times 4. So one thing he was saying was, that's not going to be the case this year. We will have individuals that's doing that on a weekly basis. So more information, on Friday, I will be doing a special live. It's going to be basically coming from me, not from the company, because the company is going to be doing one next week. But I basically want to share with my audience, my own personal organization. I want to talk to those that are here, those that used to be here, and those that have been watching and never were here, on what we've been working on and what's going to happen for the rest of the year. And of course, you're all invited to be a part of it, or you're invited to watch. Either way, it's going to happen with or without you. So with that, everybody have a great day. Wednesday. Depending on the news, I should be back for late night crypto talk tonight. We'll see. If I do it, make sure all you have to do is click on the alerts, and you'll be alerted when I do it. No, even though I try to do this twice a day, I do have a life. I have kids. Things happen that pull me away at the last minute that I didn't foresee. So other peers that I know that do crypto type talks do them only once a week. I do them twice a day. So even if you miss one, it's all good. There'll be another. So everybody have a great afternoon. Bitcoin Brandon out. God bless. Bye-bye.